Hi and welcome to this video. Today I finished the alphabet challenge, and in this video I want to show you all of the books I've read, what I thought about them, if I'm going to keep them, and so on. Yeah, I'm gonna start with letter A. I read this book. The title is Das Reich des Todesdrachen, but the name of the series is Atlas des Äthers. So you see, I not only went by the title, but also by the name of the series, just to find books for everything. And I wanted to read books that I already had on my shelf. This book is by my favorite author. I love all of their books. And yeah, I actually recently bought the new edition. So I now have two of this. So you can see, I definitely love this book. I, while reading, marked all of them with pink or purple, which means I'm going to keep them, and orange means I'm going to throw them out. Yeah, this book I'm absolutely going to keep, and yeah, I thought it was great. If you speak German, I absolutely would recommend this. Then the second book is Bubble. After reading, I also marked it with purple. I enjoyed it. I think I listened to this as an audiobook, but it was really good. And yeah, I also would recommend it to everyone. The author writes really well, so yeah, that's definitely a recommendation. Then comes Caldera. I think there's also an English version of this. I marked it with orange. I think this was one of the first books I've read. It might actually have been the first. I think it would be interesting for younger people, maybe 12-year-olds, 10 to 12, something like that. Not for me. I didn't enjoy it. I actually was really bored, but I think I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. So yeah, that's going away. With this book, I remember sitting outside reading it, and I almost fell asleep. I mean, it was a fast read, like you can see the writing is really big, but yeah, for me it was too childish. Then the book for letter D, Dial A for Aunties. I marked it orange. It was a fine book, but I have no desire in continuing with this series. I mean, it was fine, it was funny, but also it's not something I want to keep reading. I gave this, I think, 3 or 4 out of 5 stars, like 3.5. Yeah. You can absolutely read it. I'm sure a lot of people are going to enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it enough to keep reading this series. Then I have for E and Ember in the Ashes. Marked it purple, so I'm going to keep it. I listened to this as an audiobook, and I actually really enjoyed the characters, like both of them, and I'm going to keep reading it. I gave it 5 out of 5, I think. So yeah, it's a nice fantasy book. I, however, might keep listening to the audiobooks and not buy the other books. I'll have to see. But I want to continue with this. Then for F. This book, Feuer und Flut. Okay. is orange for good reason. I had to DNF it like halfway in. So yes, I did DNF some of these books, but okay. I just couldn't take it anymore. Like how she talked about this person that apparently will end up as her boyfriend. There's a second book in this series, and apparently it was planned that there will be a third, but that was never published or written or something like that. So I don't really see how I should continue with this. It also has a little bit of a Hunger Games touch. I don't know how to describe it. This I would not recommend. I have no idea why. Like, she calls this other guy a psychopath because he looks like he's been in the military. I can't remember if there were more reasons, but this was the main reason for it. And like half a chapter later she ends up in bed with him. So not half a chapter, like 100 pages, but he ends up in she ends up in bed with him. Then I read Ghost. This is a German dark romance novel. It's purple. I enjoyed it. I'm going to buy the other books in this series at some point too. It was nice to read. It was spicy too. So yeah. Also because of how these characters behave, like how they are all different, it was really funny to like also how they interacted, and like she wants to find out more about them and they also about her, but yeah, they don't really want to tell each other why, and I as the reader knew that they could actually help each other very well, but they aren't. It's hard to explain, and in case you want to read it, I don't really want to spoil too much. Then I read The Hunting Moon for H. This is purple. I think I used the pink one for this. It's the second book in the Luminary series, and this was actually the last one that I just finished. I enjoyed it a lot, and I already pre-ordered the third book in this series. So yeah, would recommend. Yeah. Then I have the letter I for I Married a Dragon. This is one of my favorite authors too. She writes really interesting stories. I like that it's science fiction mixed with romance, and it's also spicy. I am, well, you see I tapped something in here, so that means actually a lot. I have read the other 5 books that came before this, and I'm going to buy the next 6 books that are already out. So loved it. I'm going to continue with this series. Then, oh my god, for letter J, I read James Bond, Casino Royale. It's orange for good reason. I don't know if it's me, but I do not like James Bond. Maybe it's also just this book, like this one specifically. I just didn't enjoy it. Yeah, as far as I know, the books are quite old, but then also I didn't enjoy the story. The ending was boring. I now know a lot of words that have to do with gambling, which I'm not sure is something I need. This I'm going to give away. I'm not that much into gambling, so actually I'm not at all. Yeah, for K, I read Kingdom of the Wicked. Yeah, it was a fine book. I marked it with purple, but I by now decided that I'm going to give this away. I might want to continue with the series at some point, but then I'm just going to buy the other books, but I don't want to collect them. I also mainly forgot what it's about, so I don't think there's much reason in keep reading this. But if you like start reading this and then keep on with it, I'm pretty sure you are going to enjoy this. It's just nothing I want to continue with because I forgot what it's about. Then a book I enjoyed a lot, Lessons in Chemistry. The thing is, I like science and these things, which is, I actually love science fiction and stuff. This is not only good because I like the science, but also she's a woman in science. I got way more insight in how women used to be treated in science, but now that changed, which is good. Definitely going to keep it, which is Vice Purple, and yeah. I was really impressed by this. I enjoyed it a lot, and yeah. You see, I tapped a lot in this too, so I would really recommend that. Yeah. Okay, I think the next 3 books we'll have quite soon. With M, I have Maybe This Time. This is a sports romance, but it happened like this woman comes back as a teacher. I think she divorced her husband, who was some sports guy, I think hockey or something like that. And then basically she remembers, oh yeah, she was in love with this other hockey player, or maybe it was a different sport, I don't know. I'm not into sports, and just because of the way it was written, I did not like it. It's orange. This was actually a very fast DNF, I think 2 or 3 chapters in. Yeah. For N, I read Das Nautilus Project. I made it to page, there's still this string in here, to page 70. So some pages, but I couldn't stand the main character. He's some, I don't know, but what is like, he works in an office and takes care of like projects or something like that. Anyway, his wife leaves him because he's never home and doesn't take care of the child, and they rarely see each other. He moves out, is like depressed for like 2 weeks and doesn't leave his bed. Then he comes back to work, there's a new woman in the office, and they immediately start flirting, and I just couldn't take this anymore. Then for letter O, I read Oxen, das erste Opfer. I listened to the audiobook. It's not good. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah. This is like, there's the people that are trying to solve this crime, and then there is this Oxen guy, and he lives in the forest, but he hunts with a bow and everything, and he's the only one that can solve this crime. And like, he has this typical, he was in the military, and like very cliche things. I don't like that. Then for P, I read Priory of the Orange Tree. Why does this keep happening? Yeah, I loved it. Got a purple tag. I want to continue with this series, but I might read or listen to the audiobooks I'm not sure yet, but I did enjoy it a lot. It was a really good book. Yeah, then for Q, there aren't that many books with Q, but I read the Quintessential Quintuplets, so there is one manga in here. Yeah, this is the book number 6, because by the time I started this I already read 1 to 5. By now I've read all of them up to 10, and yeah, I would recommend them. They are quite funny. I think by now there's also like an anime about that. At least I've heard there is one. Yeah. Then for R, I read Reboot. Actually I didn't read the entire thing, I DNF'd it, which is why it's orange. It's about when people die, after a certain time they come back as humans, and then they get, depending on how long they've been dead, they get more strength and abilities, they improve basically. This woman which this book is about was dead in a lot longer than everyone else, or it's normal, and that is why people are afraid of her. And this kind of felt like other books with similar themes, and yeah, wasn't that interested in it then. So yeah, I DNF'd it. It's just not for me. For S, I read Sorcery of Thorns. I enjoyed it a lot. This was a really good book, and yeah, I loved how the magic works in there, and also this thing with the books. I actually forgot what they are called. Yeah, the grimoires with these, and that she works at the library. Enjoyed it a lot. There's this short story afterwards. I did read that too. Yeah, then we already had The Hunting Moon. For letter T, I read The Luminaries. This is the only one where I chose the article. I enjoyed it enough to buy the next book, so yeah, still would recommend this series. And yeah, I'm really excited for the third book. Then this book about the fact that I once actually got it in the rain. It was actually the day I bought it, which is why it's not that pretty. Urwelten for letter U. I thought this was really about how things used to be on the planet, it's supposed to be about extinct ecosystems. Somehow there's a lot of this author talking about his childhood. I don't care about his childhood, not what he lived through there or why it came that he's interested in this topic, if his childhood even had anything to do with it. Yeah, also it's told more I don't know, I don't like the way this was told. I didn't keep reading it. Yeah, it was just too much about his childhood. Then, on the other hand, I read another more scientific book, the Vagina Bible. This is a book about, the reproductive organs of women. To be precise, it's about the vagina and also the vulva. It's very interesting, she explains a lot in here, how certain things work. I tapped a lot. Those were things that I might want to look up again. I would recommend it if you have any questions in this thing or want to know more. I'm definitely going to keep this if I ever want to look something up again. For W, I have Warrior Cats, die Special Adventure, Gelbzahns Geheimnis. It was a fine book, but I marked it purple, but I recently read another Warrior Cats book and I decided to give all of them away. I'm going to donate most of the books to the public library. So in case I ever want to read them again, I'm just going to get them there. So yeah, the next book. No, the next book is not Y. It's X. I do not have it here. I'm going to put it somewhere on the screen. It's Doom, the first book in the Xian Warrior series. It's also by Regine Abel, like the I Married a Dragon book. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm going to buy her the first 2-3 books of the Xian Warrior series in print, but I want to wait until December because she's going to update the covers, so I obviously going to wait for the new covers so I then can have all of them in the same style. Would recommend it if you are into aliens, different planets, and spice. All of her books are very spicy. Yeah, then the next book is Yellowface. I enjoyed reading it. It was very interesting how all in here played out. I have a purple tab on here. Yeah, I've had it on my shelf, I think since it came out, and only came to read it I think like a few months ago. Yeah, I realized she's an author who really writes like in my taste. Not sure if you say it that way. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. Then the last book for C. Z is Shara, I think it's pronounced. I listened to the audiobook and yeah, I loved it. I'm going to buy the second book, which is Amy, something like that. I think it's pronounced. Might be pronounced very differently. So yeah, going to keep this. I did enjoy it a lot. And yeah, now I have 2 stacks, one of the books that I'm going to keep and one to give away. So there are 11 out of 26 books that I'm going to give away. I'm trying to sell them or give them to the public library. I don't know yet. Depends on whether or not I can sell them. And yeah, then I have 15 books that I want to keep. I'm going to reorganize the shelf now and put them where they belong. Yeah, that is going to be some work. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see each other next time. Bye!